seriously because I was watching that match. That has to be what it was. I know Philip DeFranco isn't gonna fucking flag somebody for fucking watching his stream. Okay. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Flagged for reacting to an AEW match that's literally uploaded to fucking YouTube that I'm clicking like on, that I'm, oh my God, I'm not even trying to profit from this shit. I'm just doing commentary on how cool it is. The absolute worst thing that could possibly happen is somebody would see me enjoying the clip and be like, hey, I should go watch AEW tonight and give them some ratings. Fuck that. We'll punish you for that. Fucking idiots.
Everybody cares about quality. Some people just want crap. If that's you, Bespoke Post is not for you.
Crashing our parties because you tried to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the Secretary of State of Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
One question.
Oh my God. That is so fucking weird.
He's asking because he doesn't know what one is. Well, no, he's asking for two reasons. Republicans, MAGA Republicans, Trumplicans, whatever you want to fucking call them, they asked that question for two reasons. One, they honestly don't know. And two, they're not smart enough to come up with a second question. I'm thirsty. I'll be back.
surge of pain, like a flood, crank to 10, feel the whip, strength through chaos, load the whip, stream of power, raw and vile, cold abyss, destruction smile, rivers rage, no escape, feel the grip, iron take. Dark descent, the final plea. Electric shock, it sets you free. Summon wrath, relentless flames. The mix, fix, no one names. Dark descent, the final plea. Electric shock, it sets you free. Summon wrath, relentless flames. The mix, fix, no one names.
Anyway,
What's your name, sir? Sir, what's your name?
My name's Leano Sharon. I'm a DN.
She's still just like at the front lines, like, you know, somehow got there, got the team there, they got the camera, everything, and there's Amy Goodman right out front being like, hey, sir, please tell me your name, tell me your story.
DNC delegate from Michigan.
I mean, let's just face it. Look at Charlie Kirk. You can look at him and tell someone left his retarder on.
And what did you do today?
Today we held up a sign protesting the murder of children in Gaza and the continuing genocide.
Watch your step, watch your step. What did the sign say?
It said, stop arming Israel.
All right, thank you. Let's keep it going. We'll watch out get into the tunnel. Let's get into the tunnel. You can interview him in the tunnel, okay?
And what happened
I just don't want you to break your ankles.
Then the people behind us grabbed a hold of the sign and tried to rip it out of our hands several times. Eventually they succeeded.
Interview in the hall, okay? Let's get him down. Come on. All right, thanks for being cooperative, sir.
Yeah,
okay,
no problem.
Thank you.
And why did you do it?
I did that because we are currently funding a genocide, and we need.
At least the security is respectful. I will grant you that, because I have been obviously, you know, severely thrown around by security before, and also been treated with the utmost respect by security before. There's such a huge difference when it's like people who are just clearly, this is my job, I'm showing up today, I know I have to move you from this area to this area, but I don't want you to get hurt on your way down. There are stairs right there, so I'm going to go out of my way to make sure. Please just watch your step there. Thank you so much. All right, I'm just here for your safety, right? Essentially, that's what I'm supposed to do, so that's what I'm going to do, right? Whereas there's other places you go where it's just people like throwing you, pushing you, like, get the fuck out of here, kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it needs to stop. And also, I want to make it clear to the Harris campaign that this is actually in their interest. Netanyahu is trying to.
And that's the thing. We've got to be better than that. What they did to him, that's what Trump supporters do at Trump rallies. And my God, if there is one thing that I would want people to see out of anything I fucking say at all in this stream, it would be that by stripping that man of his sign, behaving in that manner, and having him, the person who was literally physically accosted, because the people who ripped the sign from his hand should have been thrown out, A, for physically accosting him, and B, for theft and damage of his property. Even if it was only worth a nickel, it doesn't matter. You committed a crime, and that's how Trump supporters treat people at their rally. So you just behave like low-life Trump supporters. Being dirtbags. It's awful.
To instigate a larger war so he could remain in power and avoid going to prison. In order to move Netanyahu off of his current position of trying to expand the war in order to stay in power and remain out of jail, we believe that the U.S. needs to stop arming Israel. Needs to have an embargo against their genocide.
There's Ryan Grimm. A wild Ryan Grimm appears.
Otherwise, Netanyahu doesn't have the incentive to stop the genocide.
He's right.
The mass murder.
Why does this matter to you so much?
He's right.
It matters to me so much because
He's
I'm
100% right.
And I was always brought up to believe that never again means never again for anyone, anywhere, ever, period. And that's not what's happening right now. What's happening right now is that we are continuing to fund and support an ongoing genocide, the mass murder of children, and it needs to stop.
Hero. What a legend. Well, I mean, that brings us to, I guess, this that came out today from the UN.
100% correct.
Before the war, Gaza City was the liveliest city in Gaza Strip. Now it's mostly just rubble. It's rare to see buildings without damage or total destruction anymore. Any building fully intact stands out. Hundreds of thousands of homes and lives destroyed. Stories of children, mothers, fathers, entire families being buried underneath rubble. If you haven't seen some of the latest footage, it's like something out of an apocalyptic film where literally nothing is left. Just everything destroyed. As far as the eye can see. Oh, it's just so much more depressing and dark than any film I've seen on the apocalypse or even on nuclear fallout or shit like that. When you just see how there's just no life left. There's no animals. There's no plants. There's nothing. There's just destruction. That's all that remains. And again, that's one of the reasons why I say that, like, younger people who consume their information more through the internet than they do through mainstream media are getting a lot more of these images, of the videos of the dead children, of the viscera, of the basically just full-blown seeing genocide with your own eyes, which is why they are a lot more active and a lot more vocal about their outrage and disgust. When you're someone who's consuming like the half an hour of news at night on TV, where it's one of like 16 stories, and that one story will say things like another unfortunate day for Palestinian children as they have to move from one location to another, still wondering when a ceasefire will come. Meanwhile, the Democrats have announced that they are fighting for a ceasefire, although details are murky at this point in time. We now go to, and that's it. Like that's your exposure. And then that's what you know of it, and you're like, I've heard it's sad. Yeah, it looks as if people are having a really hard time there. There's some starvation or something, polio, something bad. But they're not seeing just like the satellite photos where it's like, here's where, like, if you look in the satellite picture, everything in red is where there's been something that's been bombed or destroyed, and it's just the majority of the Gaza Strip now. Like the entire strip has been destroyed. It's just now mostly rubble and destruction and mass death of just a unfathomable degree. And so when you see that, that's why there's that disconnect that everyone is experiencing, where some people are so revolted with other people. Just the very idea of someone being like, hey, by the way, come on, I'm talking. Stephen King, he's gonna post a picture, it's got that the logo, I'm talking, shut up protesters, don't help Trump. You help Trump if you talk up about this. And people on the other end just feeling like, fuck, just I can't believe this is supposed to be the highest crime against humanity. We're supposed to prevent this from ever occurring. Once we've identified it as happening and you see it with your own eyes, you're supposed to do everything in your power to stop it, to block people shipping weapons, to stop people from sending over military aid. Like this is happening in real time because of our help. Like we have to stop that. That's why there is this really powerful disconnect that's going on the internet right now between Walls is cute. Yeah, no. See, Tim Walls, perfect pick. In many ways, like there's people who at these conventions they have very kind of like I would say animated expressions, and they're just profoundly strange to look at. Like Hillary Clinton when the balloons dropped, where she's like that's not the good kind of like wholesome like, oh, you're excited. That's like, what's going on with your face? But Tim Walls is the other kind where you can just tell this is like a little kid in a candy store. He's just like, oh, I'm so excited. This is so much fun.
It is so good to be with everyone this evening in this hall and everyone at home. This is going to be a great week. And I want to kick us off by celebrating our incredible President Joe Biden, who will be speaking later tonight Joe, thank you for your historic leadership, for your lifetime of service to our nation, and for all you will continue to do. We are forever grateful to you. Thank you, Joe. And looking out at everyone tonight, I see the beauty of our great nation. People from every corner of our country and every walk of life are here, united by our shared vision for the future of our country. And this November, we will come together and declare with one voice, as one people, we are moving forward.
You see what a complicated time it is? Like, it's so difficult to be someone with any kind of morality and realize just like the reality of the situation, that this ongoing genocide that's taking place right now against Palestinians is being directly armed by the United States. And every day there's just a juxtaposition between the horrifying atrocities and war crimes. And they're now, the Democrats, in this incredibly unique situation where you can kind of start to leave the baggage of the old president, the genocide Joe, behind. It's a very rare situation that, like, you know, the president steps down, allowing for the vice president to then run in his stead. And in this way, we can actually create two different campaigns. We're going to go Brad Summer in one direction, and then let's just let the whole genocide Joe stuff, you know, try and die on the side. And you can tell, even watching this, you can be, you know, a full-blooded communist or an anarchist or something like that. But it's so easy to get sucked into it. It's so easy to get sucked into just like seeing stadiums full of people celebrating the very concept of a woman becoming the first president in U.S. history, a multiracial woman becoming the first president in U.S. history, much like when Barack Obama was running. Part of me, you know, that part of that progressive part of you just feels like, fuck yes. It feels like we're somehow, even if you're not an American, somehow defeating something evil through that alone. The very act of putting someone in a position of that power, the getting the votes of the majority of the country coming together.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this.
Deadpool and Wolverine is officially the highest grossing.
Hey Slurs, it's your fave British cigaretto here with the first 3 episodes of AFR, a Slur reacts to Project 2025. Today we're going to suffer, because last week, a couple dozen training videos for Republican politicians made by the Heritage Foundation on how to completely destroy human rights in America were obtained and then leaked by ProRepublica, and they are unhinged. The BBC reports that Project 2025 calls for the sacking of thousands of civil servants, expanding the power of the president, dismantling the Department of Education, halting sales of the abortion pill, and under the proposals, pornography would be banned, and tech and telecom companies that allow it would be shut down. And then it proposes to eliminate a long list of terms from all laws and federal regulations, including sexual orientation, gender equality, abortion, and reproductive rights. So, you know, yikes. Project 2025 is definitely dangerous, messed up, and if implemented, will be disastrous. But also, these videos are really, really funny. Here, let me show you, babes.
Hi, I'm Katie Sullivan, and just a normal American woman. But to the left, that makes me a cisgendered, ethno-imperialist, birthing person with pronouns she, her.
I'm just a normal American woman. So let's dive into the world of hypocrisy, pronounophobia, and maybe we'll even find out why Miss Girl's glasses have eyes drawn on them. If you want to suggest something to react to or have a watch party with me for the next video I film for this series, you can join my Patreon. Before we drag this filth for filth, don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video so I know you want to see more. For today, the first episode, we're starting with Project 2025's video on left-wing code words called The Monsters in the Attic. The Monsters in the Attic is definitely giving goosebumps. Ooh, I should react to some Goosebumps. Leave a comment if you want some Goosebumps reaction. The video starts out with two adult, allegedly human flea bags perched on their chairs just waiting to say exactly back and forth to each other.
Hi, I'm Katie Sullivan, and just a normal American woman. But to the left, that makes me a cisgendered ethno-imperialist birthing person with pronouns she, her.
I'm just a normal American woman. I have two eyes that aren't painted on my glasses, just like you. I didn't come to this planet recently, just like you. And I wash my human fursuit on delicate, just like you.
With pronouns she, her.
That little... Oh my god, she's giving Lorraine from Mad TV.
Well, welcome. We've been here for about a year.
Huh?
We've been here for about a year. Yes, a year.
Oh, about a year?
Yes, a year.
Birthing person with pronouns she, her. Words like that are quite a mouthful, and it's one America needs to spit out before we choke on it.
Well, I'm the realest kind of American, a Canadian, and I don't spit or choke. Unless he wants me to.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
This great nation will endure as it has endured. Will revive.
So the
This intro is
her
so
argument
dramatic. You're not
is
Game of Thrones just because your voting base also
it's
loves war
hard and I'm
and
lazy,
incest.
and it's just so many like.
Are your children afraid of monsters in the attic or under the bed?
Bethany, do your children ever ask you why you never blink? No, Belinda. My children aren't allowed to ask.
Yeah, they have been, but we always tell them that they do not exist.
Today we have news. There are monsters in Uncle Sam's attic.
It's the words, phrases, definitions that are used, which may look like one thing, but absolutely mean another. And it is scary.
The left continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases. They twist words and phrases to support subconscious acceptance of a philosophy that was rejected or is against the grain of human existence. Like, what is a woman?
That's actually something the right started saying.
That is literally no one on the left ever started saying that. That was 100% purely a right wing. I mean, it's like if you support Trump, like, are you just putting on an act? Or are you really like that? Jesus.
Kick off the season and save $85 when you bundle NFL Sunday
So
Ticket
fucked
with
up.
YouTube TV.
Irish shoegaze band My Bloody Valentine had decided to lock themselves in a recording studio located in an industrial estate. They utilised loose bass strings, distortion, feedback and sheer volume to achieve a rumbling bass sound so loud it was vibrating the floor and flickering the lights within the studio. What they didn't realise, however, is the sound was travelling for miles and trembling any neighbouring building. Near the end of this 40-minute noise session, the band realised one of their neighbours had been violently smashing on the door since they had started in an attempt to stop the noise. The idea that their music had made somebody this angry sent the band into hysterics. They described that feeling as euphoric and wanted to attempt to replicate it through their future music. This would be one of the moments that inspired the eventual unique and deafeningly loud Loveless by My Bloody Valentine, an album that has not only become one of the most influential and fondly remembered in rock history, but a piece of art so expensive and time-consuming to make, it resulted resulted in their record label going bankrupt. It seems only appropriate that the eventual mind behind My Bloody Valentine, Kevin Shields, would be inspired by the harsh distortion and shrieked vocals of punk music. Although Shields is originally from New York, he moved to Ireland at 10 years old. Whilst living in Ireland, he realised there was literally nothing to do and quickly became fascinated by punk music at the age of 14, covering songs by the Buzzcocks on his Honda SG. Whilst attending a kung fu class, Shields would meet drummer Colin Mulcahy, with the two quickly becoming close friends. They began playing music together, although the result barely resembled anything musical at all. Mulcahy was incredibly inexperienced on the drums, so much so that he didn't actually know how to play any beats and instead just smacked drum heads and cymbals randomly. Luckily, Shields had a similar level of experience and didn't even know what tuning a guitar was. The result was an amalgamation of out-of-tune guitar riffs and poorly timed cymbal smashes. Despite their inexperience, they were still keen to experiment, creating drones and strange noises on synthesizers before attempting to improvise over them. In 1979, the two answered a message in a newspaper requesting various members for a punk band. This resulted in the formation of The Complex. The band would play punk cover songs together for a few years before eventually breaking up. Although the band played punk, their stage presence didn't really reflect anarchy and mosh pit culture. The band were essentially just a bunch of nerds
when you're an Amex Gold Card member,
staring at their shoes during every performance.
There's always
After the
something
band
to
split,
savor.
the duo focused on post-punk, forming the band with an equally shit name, A Life in the Day. Unfortunately, this band suffered from Nobody Gave a syndrome and broke up not long after forming. They would decide to form My Bloody Valentine in 1983, coincidentally utilising the same name as the 1980s Canadian slasher film, although the band members deny even being aware of the film when coming up with the name. The band began rehearsing and playing a few shows, although ran into various issues, with every one of these issues stemming from the fact that the band played and rehearsed way too loud. This was not suited for a countryside town in Ireland, resulting in countless noise complaints, I'd assume from the local sheep population. They had decided at that point that Ireland's music scene didn't have room for their sound and style. I wonder why. So after securing a concert in the Netherlands, decided to reside there for 9 months. Whilst in the Netherlands, they lived in a squat run by bikers. This living condition was so horrendous that a show promoter took pity on them, inviting the band to stay at his house. Whilst living at the house, they quickly discovered an attic full of icky sticky green plants, which ignited a long-term habit for the band. They were so poor they replaced their tobacco habits with icky sticky, as it was cheaper to just steal from the attic than continue to purchase tobacco. After supporting the band REM for a few shows within the country, they decided to record their debut, This Is Your Bloody Valentine, in 1985. The band had very little.
If open conversation was simply allowed, their side would be crushed into oblivion in less than a day.
No. No, it wouldn't, because the entire right-wing argument is, what is a woman? Well, I reject anything other than my definition. Oh. And they're that way with every topic, every subject, every matter. That's literally their check that out. That's their tactic for everything. Like it, like God. I had someone's. I had a friend of a friend. It's like, why can't we put in God We Trust in the schools? And I said, well, for one, that's just a phrase some Republicans came up with to put on money. So the fact that it's directly connected with money and only money, kind of not a good look, but also because we're not a fascist country. And two of them had to tag team me. And their whole fucking argument was, you made me feel bad and hurt my feelings because you're being mean by saying fascist. And I said, it doesn't matter how you feel. I mean, that's what it is by the definition of fascism. You're trying to do this complete overthrow. Anyone who doesn't bow down to my religion, we're just excluding you. You don't matter. And then dude even proved my point by saying, well, I don't care about all those polytheistic religions. They shouldn't matter. And it's like, there you go. But still, the other one was just no substance, didn't even approach the topic, didn't even attempt to even approach the actual subject matter. The whole thing was, well, you're just mean. Well, you're just mean. And then tried to do the whole, well, you're being a fascist by not allowing it. And it's like, what? Well, you're being a fascist too by not allowing his. And it's like, no one's not allowing the religion. Go do your religion in your religious building. I mean, it's like a fucking argument. Like, well, why can't I do yoga in the middle of the bingo hall? Because it's a fucking bingo hall, you fucking weird dork. Go do yoga in the yoga place. But they're the same whiny bitches who cry over a football player kneeling. Or if a musician talks about politics in the middle of their concert and it's not the politics they like. Because, of course, when Ted Nugent goes on a big political rant, they cheer for that. But Rage Against the Machine pauses before Bulls on Parade to tell you what Bulls on Parade is about, and everybody cries. Why they gotta be political? I'm a Republican. I'm fragile and tender.
We win.
If you tried to explain this to like a normal person, they would have an aneurysm. They would be like,
We decided that we would celebrate the 1-year anniversary of our film, What is a Woman, by releasing the film free for everybody on Twitter. And we presented this idea to Twitter several weeks ago. They were excited about it at first. They offered us the chance to buy a special event page for the film.
I don't
which
believe
would have
that.
all kinds of great extra features, and it would also ensure a wide reach for the film.
I don't believe
but then
that.
Only a few days before our streaming event, Twitter changed its tune dramatically. They told us that they
I don't
decided
believe
that
any
the
of that.
film is hate speech and that it violates its policies against misgendering, quote unquote, policies that they
Okay, let me translate everything Matt Walsh is saying into the actual truth. They contacted YouTube, and upon first suggestion, YouTube gave them the standardized response that they give anyone with a big channel who's going to host like an official film or da-da-da-da-da. And instead of putting it on your regular channel, they go to set you up with the film channel, like where you can go watch Airplane. Yeah, I'm making it a point to point out that on the same channel where you can go watch the classic comedy film Airplane, they were offering to put it there instead of his main channel, because then it gets promoted as a film rather than in the films get a different kind of promotion to a larger audience, because it would be listed as a documentary. And it was the same cookie cutter response they give everybody. Guarantee it. I promise you this. But then once they submitted the actual film and they looked over it, then they realized, oh, that movie. No, fuck you. That's what happened.
removed from the written terms of service months ago, but which they now say still exist, but in,
No.
I guess, invisible ink. And
No.
they told us that
Wait,
they
what?
still exist. Policies that they removed from the violates its policies against misgendering, quote unquote. Policies that they removed from the written terms of service months ago.
So Matt Walsh is telling us that we can start referring to him as a little girl, a little whiny girly girl now. Is that what he's telling us? That we can finally go back to referring to him as a little bitchy bitch? Because it's okay now. And what the fuck is why do all these hard writers look like weird experiments that went wrong?
But which they now say still exist, but in, I guess, invisible ink. And they told us that we could not have our event page. And not only that,
look at pictures
but
of
if we
him
posted
without the
film
beard.
on our own page,
He
they
grew
would
the-
tag it as hateful conduct.
He grew the beard because everybody kept making
And disable sharing on the film and make sure that nobody sees it in their feeds.
I love this because, like,
No.
one of the funniest parts about Matt Walsh's career or this documentary is
My God. They exist on victimhood. I was banned. And they will. People like him, they'll do a video where they, like, just for an example, intentionally say the N-word 100 times. And then they banned my video on free speech because they hate free speech.
that, like, it is so, like, it's like actively trying to create more mentally ill people. Okay, so not only is, like, this
It is.
documentary insane, okay, not only is this documentary absolutely insane, it's been really funny to see Matt Walsh just complain about it stop, dude. He has been actively complaining about, like, one, not getting enough play out of Twitter not Twitter not actually giving it enough attention. Rotten Tomatoes, like, review bombing it positively, but, like, no serious critic has, like, reviewed it. It sucks from the perspective of just, like, enjoyable content. It has a bunch of, like, ironic moments of hypocrisy in it, and it ultimately doesn't really establish anything. Other.
I tried to watch it. I watched through about like 20 minutes and then I just skip because I'm reminded of one of my favorite. I just absolutely love the name of, like, out of all the plays in the world, like, some of them have clever names, some of them not so much, but my favorite name of a play of all time is Much Ado About Nothing. And What is a Woman really is that. Like, it's not going to convince anybody of anything. But someone who's drunk on the Kool-Aid or Flavor Aid, for the sake of accuracy, someone who's drunk on the Flavor Aid, someone who's part of the cult is going to tell you, oh my God, it's life-changing. But the chances that they actually even watched a second of it are slim and none. Meanwhile, if you're the group they're targeting, you will laugh your ass. It won't even make you mad. It won't. It won't even make you mad. You will laugh your ass off because he's just... It's like you're watching him and it's like you're watching a child with a fake beard who is really convinced that he's pulling this off and he's doing big things, big important things. Like when you were 9 and your buddy came to you and said, I think I figured out the Bermuda Triangle, man. And he was serious.
than doing the classic child dialogue tree of just constantly repeating the same question over and over again, being like, what is a woman? What? Why?
We've got gender and sex, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
Sex refers to a set of biological characteristics, and gender is a social construct or category. What I think is often misleading about that characterization is allowed to be sort of.
Wait, what? He did not just cut him describing it. He did not.
And he did. That's what they did, because he didn't he's like, oh, what they're implying is, well, it's like what this one idiot said to me one day. He said, if you can't sum up your argument in a short meme, then you don't have a solid argument. And it's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, the longer it takes you to explain yourself, the less substantive and solid your argument is. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Ask. Ask a biology teacher to explain the endocrine system in like one sentence that fits on a meme. It's just, my God. I don't.
So before Barack Obama gave his speech at the DN.
And the whole reason is because he got blasted. He got blasted. Like, one is something that, is really only important to like scientists and doctors. The other isn't even important at all. It's just a social construct. Like, honestly, what is a woman? Well, it's a social. I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible. What is a woman? Essentially, a woman is essentially the same thing as a man. But first off, we have to point out that American English is the baby language. Like, we're the newest language. We're the baby language. So to say that we get to define what is a man and what is a woman is the most moronic argument, because like the last people to use a bastardized version of those terms should not get to define what the terms mean. So you would have to go back and ask, I don't know, the people from Rome, maybe, or, well, we'd have to go to Africa, I guess. Ask the African tribes. They would get to decide, because they're the ones closest to the people who originated. But what is it? Okay, it's a label that society came up with to discern people who fill and play one role from another. Like, what is a man, what is a woman is not much different from, well, I'm a cook. Well, what kind of cook? Do you bake? Do you fry? Do you grill? Are you a sous chef? It's a label.
And see, me and Crystal were talking about it, and I said to her, I really hope that he doesn't go back to classic 2008 Obama, because the theme of 2008 Obama was like hope and change and unity and bipartisanship. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember this, and if you don't remember, you can go back and like watch the speeches. But his big thing was like, there's not red states and blue states. There's only the United States of America. And it's very like aspirational and forward looking. But honestly, in today's day and age, it sort of feels like a relic from the past because people are more cynical. They're more pessimistic. They're more angry. They're more bitter, right? And so that kind of talk just comes across as like cheap politician talk, right? So I said to Crystal, I wonder what he's going to do because he could do just a classic Obama speech, but I don't think it'll hit as hard. Now, my mistake was underestimating the rhetorical ability of Barack Obama. Because boy, oh boy, was I surprised at the angle he took. So,
oh God,
now look, to be fair, he did eventually get to his classic themes of hope and change and unity and improving things, making things better, going forward. He did get to that eventually. But he sort of did it
Trump
in
makes
a
the most
new
grotesque
and unique way
faces
and
when he
used, like, I guess, personal anecdotes to sort of make those arguments. And he did that second. The first thing he did was absolutely brutalize Donald Trump. So in other words, he adjusted to the times. He's like, okay, that when they go low, we go high shit didn't fucking work. It was really dumb. So now I got a chainsaw and I'm coming after you, right? So I'm going to show you the part where he goes after Trump. Prepare yourselves, man. All I have to say is prepare yourselves.
And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain.
He's pulling out that shit that got
Trump
everybody to vote for him
over that
twice.
question.
This is how he got everybody to vote for him twice.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire.
This is how he won 2 elections.
Who has not stopped whining about his problems.
This is how he won
since
2
he
elections.
rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has.
And oh my God, and what a pussy. This triggered Donald Trump so hard that when he was giving his speech at the landscaping company or fucking sanitation yard, wherever he was today, when he was giving his speech, he literally whined and pouted about this. And he even went on this dumb rant where he's like, my people, they tell me, my advisors tell me, don't get personal because I never get personal. They say stick to policy, don't get personal. And you know me, I never get personal. And it's like, what? This is a guy who can't even get out more than 3 words without using and when I say a childish nickname, I'm saying he gives people the kind of nicknames that 6-year-olds come up with. Oh, that's so Stinky Pete because he's a stinky. He's a stinky, and that over there, that's dumb Steve, because Steve's a dummy. He's real dumb, so I call him Dumb Steve. Isn't that hilarious? Dumb Steve. I mean, that's like the level he works on, and then everybody laughs along with him because we've got to pretend with dear leader.
There's been a constant stream of gripes and grievances. That's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
True.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories.
Yep.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. This weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Did he just mock his dick size?
He did accordion hands,
Did he just mock
Kyle.
his dick size?
Kyle.
Did he just imply Trump has a tiny peepee? Is that what he just did?
You're missing.
My God.
You're,
All right.
You're missing a very important thing, Kyle. He did the Trump accordion hands. Kyle overlooks some of this stuff, but yeah, that was accordion hands. He did the Trump thing. He did the Trump thing. Oh, it was beautiful.
Come on, lady, for a friendly word. She picked up the phone,
Dropped it on the floor. All I heard. Now let's go. Let's get nuts.
Let's go! We're all excited, but we don't know why. Maybe it's 'cause we're all gonna die. And when we do, oh, what's it all for? You better live now before the grim reaper comes knocking on your door. We gonna let the earth break us down. Let's go crazy. Let's go nuts. Let's go for the purple banana till they put us in the truck. Let's go! Come on, baby. I need everybody to get nuts with me. Come on. Are we on here? Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we gonna let the elevator bring us down. Let's go. Put your hands together. Down there, everything be alright. Make everything go wrong. Kill and thrill and laugh until we'll kill. Hey, tough children. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go! Yeah! See the E, everybody!
Oh man. Say what?
Work. That's just another footnote, cliff note. Let me explain this because people might not understand. So what happened is, and you know, a lot of this material is public court documents, so it's fascinating to read. Your father dies in 1993, right? And he leaves a will.
52 years old.
Leaves
That
a
we don't
will.
know about. We don't know about the will.
No one tells anyone. And in fact, in your book, when you ask your mother, did dad leave a will? She says, Earth to moon. Of course he didn't leave a will. So that expression is used in a dismissive, like, you're too young to understand. Of course not. How could you be? So then in 2015, when your mother dies, you discover there was actually a will. Now, legally, the will is unenforceable because his he put her in charge of the estate, but it's just useful because it does show what he intended, which you say was an even split between the siblings, and for her to get out of the music business. What in fact Gail does is she stays in the music business, gets even more immersed in it, and then there are a series of different trusts, and then near the end of her life, she changes her trust to leave Ahmed and Diva, the two youngest, co-trustees of the estate, with control over it. And she splits, and I'm sorry, I know this sounds like a lot of data, but I just want to, she splits the inheritance 30% to Amit, 30% to Diva, and 20% to you, and 20% to Dweezil. That's what you're talking about. And you write this, I just want to read this paragraph without one profane word, but it's in your book. What parent does this? What mother does this? What the F did I do? What mother chooses some kids over others? What mother wishes unending love and peace and belief and resources and creativity and total empowerment and divides a family into a them and an us, into a hateful before and an even worse after? What sibling?
Got a buddy of mine that might be interested in that.
Our little girl's growing up so fast.
For expanding the place. You know, for...
Interesting side effect. It seems when vampirism leaves one's system, so does the victim's memory of it.
Perhaps for the better, sir. After all, Gotham can barely accept the legend of a Batman.
Dracula's holed up in Gotham Cemetery, where I intend to bury him permanently.
Huh?
Begging pardon, sir. You think your magic bullet may actually destroy Dracula? However would they deal with the truth about Dracula?
Hopefully that won't be an issue after tonight. Dracula may walk like a man, but he's a monster.
Wait! Widow! Wait! Ugh.
What?
Miss Vale.
Dr. Alucard.
Now you, of all people, should know better, Miss Vale. Alone?
Okay, I was
Yeah, I
gonna
know,
say.
the lost ones. I wasn't planning on missing my trip. Have a good night, Doctor.
Yeah, this wasn't because it said
with Dracula.
Batman the animated series. No, this is the Batman. It's totally different. Totally different. Should I play some Hogwarts? That is another game I need to finish. Ghostbusters was fucking awesome. I mean, that's a what am I gonna do? Oops. I guess the easiest way is going to be